Welcome back to another video. My name is Kyle and I suck at budgeting. Today we've got the first paycheck of the month of September. We're going to see how much I can screw it up. Let's get into it. Let's get into YNAB. So I am using an application called YNAB, which I never talk about, but I just kind of assumed that it's usually in the title, and you know, the way people find the videos typically is because you search for YNAB. But if you don't know, YNAB stands for You Need a Budget. And yeah, I do. And you do too, probably. So, unusual that I have two overspent categories. But I do. Let me move this down here so I can see what I'm doing. One of them is, we'll talk about that one in a second, but before we budget all of this money, we're going to take care of those two overspent categories. So, the first overspent category is gifts, and it's $48.35. I just bought some stuff and did not put money in to cover it. That simple. The next thing is I have a category called returns. So, I've had to do a little bit of dog food rolling with the punches. Not as bad as the last time where I had to buy all new dog food because I was afraid a cat peed in the bag. Don't know about that story. Look at my previous videos. I think it's out there somewhere. There's even a short about it, I think. So this time, I got a notification on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Yes, I got a notification last Wednesday that my dog food subscription is about to renew. Fantastic. It's going to renew on Thursday. And it says that the order will be delivered the next business day. So to everyone that I know about is, the order gets placed on Thursday. That means the next business day is Friday. But they didn't tell me was in this new system is that the order is placed after hours on Thursday. So the next business day is not Friday. The next business day is Monday. I had the foresight to call ahead because I knew they just did this changeover, and I was like, hey, just want to be sure that my dog food is going to get delivered on Friday. He's like, no, it's not. And I was like, cool. Anyway, we can get it delivered by Saturday. He goes, yeah, no problem. We'll FedEx it to you. Cool. So I went and I got really low on dog food, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to grab a bag just in case. So I grabbed a bag of dog food, and guess what happened? FedEx did not deliver my package on Saturday because despite it coming from like 20 minutes up the road, they lost it somehow. And so I got two feedings out of the small bag that I bought and realized on Monday that the dog food still hadn't arrived. So I was like, Monday after I fed them, I was like, you know what? Let me go grab another bag just in case. And I got home, the bag still hadn't arrived. And then 8 o'clock last night, the bag arrived. And I was like, oh. So anyway, I'm going to be returning this bag of dog food. It's not the normal food that I buy, so it's just going to go back. So I have a category called returns. So anytime I return something, I just move the transaction to there. And then when the new transaction comes, I just move it here, and then it cancels each other out. That's how I handle my returns. I don't know if that's the right way or the wrong way, but that's how I do it. So this is actually going to stay as negative for now, because when I return the food on probably this weekend, unless I get really ambitious, actually I might do it Thursday. That way when the return will come, it'll just cancel it out. The only time I wouldn't do that, I think, is if the return happened at the end of the month and I wanted to, close it out so that I don't have an overspent category. I don't know. That's a long story to say. I have an overspent category for returns. So, all right. Let's get into all categories. We got to finish up a few things. And I think we're going to change something for this month, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Let's finish up the groceries here. So I need $6.50 for the month, and then Over here, I need an additional 307.25. Don't know what that noise was. 307.25. And then for gas, I need an additional $200. Oops. I do that all the time. So yeah, there's that. So we're good there. I think we're good there. Yep. Oh, that's a good thing to find. Okay, so let's jump back up to. Actually, let's jump down here. So I've got the Jeep bumper. I'm gonna hold off on this bumper purchase because it is the end of summer, and we're gonna get some cooler weather. One of the big reasons for the new bumper is that when I take the top off, it's easier to stand on the bumper to do that. And because the Jeep bumper is plastic, it doesn't really support the weight of a fly, let alone my fat butt. So I was looking to get something that's solid metal that I could stand on and make my life a little bit easier. But since we're heading into cooler weather, we were in the 40s at night this week. Granted, we're in the 90s today, but whatever. It's kind of the way it is. I'm actually going to move this to a different spot, but we don't have an area for it yet. So let's create an area. This is going to go into quality of life. I am going to create a category for an Apple Watch. I was an Apple Watch user for a long time. Had the original one, had the third one or the second one. I think the first three of them actually. Maybe just the first and the third. I don't remember. And here's a nerd story. We'll go big screen for the nerd story. So I worked for a company, and I helped them build a server. See, I build servers quite frequently, despite not knowing what I'm doing. But I helped them build a server. I wasn't the main. I was overseeing the project, not actually doing the actual building process. And the company was using QuickBooks at the time, and they were using QuickBooks version like 3, which had been outdated for like 15 years. It was so old, and like they knew they had to upgrade. And like one of the first things I tried to do when I got there was get them to upgrade QuickBooks. And or was it Quicken? It was QuickBooks. And I was like, all right, well, we're building this new server. Let's upgrade the new version of QuickBooks into the new server. And I talked to the financial controller and the accountants. They're like, oh, we're building this new system. We're not going to use QuickBooks anymore. And I was like, all right, cool. That's fine. So I was remote. So we built the new server. I shut the new one off because I wasn't in the office. I didn't have the ability to physically unplug it. Wish I did. So I asked someone else to physically unplug it for me, and they did. So they said. A couple months go by, and the financial controller calls me and says, hey, I can't log into QuickBooks. And I said, we don't use QuickBooks anymore. You told me we were going to get rid of it. Oh, well, we changed our mind. I said, well, I disconnected the server months ago. What have you guys been using? And he goes, oh, well, we just reconnected it. We just didn't tell you. And I was like, what? So I had a server sitting out there with no antivirus, no real protection, no backup. There was a hard drive running backup, but you'll find out in the story that it actually failed. So anyway, I got there, I tried logging in, and the entire server was infected with ransomware. And we lost, was like 12 years of financial data for 3 different companies because of this. And I freaked out. I realized that I was putting too much faith in technology. And at this time, I had a really unhealthy relationship with Facebook, just checking it all the time, doom scrolling, and all this sorts of nonsense. And I decided that I was done, and I realized that I needed to not eliminate, but limit the technology in my life. And I realized that it was very difficult to do that when I had a screen on my wrist reminding me to check the screen in my pocket, which then would remind me to check the screen on my laptop. So I sold my Apple Watch and I went completely analog. The watches that I've been wearing have like no battery. They're the old automatic self-winding type watches, which I love. I love them so much. But I've been having some I don't want to say health issues, but I'm getting older and I've been experiencing some health things. I've had some dizzy spells recently that I thought was related to blood pressure. Turns out it's not. It's just vertigo, which could be lots of different things. So I realized that I was at a point where if I were truly having issues with vertigo and I did fall, there was a chance that no one would know about it. So because I live alone, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time to get back into the Apple ecosystem with the watch. And they had the fall detection. I was in an accident a couple of years ago, and that probably would have gone off, and it would have been helpful because I was out of it for a little bit during that accident. So what am I saying? I'm gonna probably get an Apple Watch. I also want to get back into hiking. I used to do hiking back when I lived in New York, and I'd like to be able to hike and track the stuff and track heart rate and track, the trails that I'm going on, and it would be a lot easier with an Apple Watch. So I've decided that I'm going to go with an Apple Watch, and I'm going to budget $525 because I'm going to go with an Apple Watch Ultra. I think that's kind of what I've decided, and I'm going to try and get it less than that. So I'm using backmarket.com, which is really pretty good for buying used technology. I would say sorry, I put that $500 in there. I realized you didn't see it, but it's there. $525 in the Apple Watch category. But anyway, backmarket.com, not a sponsored thing. I've used them for my phone. My friends have used them. We've gotten some really good deals on the stuff that's there. I would say that what you should make sure that you do is if you use them, there are different vendors that sell stuff. Make sure that you read the reviews of the vendor. So if you scroll down on what you're looking for, it'll tell you who the vendor is. If you click on it, then there's reviews. Some of the reviews are kind of bad. It tells you how long they've been affiliated with Back Market. But like there's stuff that it's not cleaned. It's not, it's, misrepresented. So Back Market does do a pretty good job from what I've seen of like weeding that stuff out. But just be careful. That's all I have to say about that. So then we're going to drop down because did I move the money? I didn't. So I'm going to move this to ready to assign. This Jeep bumper money is going to go back up to ready to assign. And you'll know that we're trying to do the Jeep thing. So we need to do $1,200. It might be less than this month just because of the Apple Watch if I decide to go through with the purchase. I've had several of them in my cart for checkout throughout the week, and I just have not pulled the trigger. So I'm going to throw $1,200 in there, and then the month ahead increase, $138.31. This is gonna kill the month ahead trajectory, but I think for health wise is good. Maybe I should get something for Englishes. For health, I think it might be I think it's a decent move. So, if I'm dead, I can't budget, I guess. So, let's just take one more quick look at this and make sure. Oh, I've got $138 to spend. Did I not move it where I thought I was going to move it? I didn't hit the enter button. I put the wrong number in there. 138.81. Enters. There we go. So yeah. We're $61 short for that, and that's fine. Yeah. I think we're good. So yeah. The next video is going to be the usual closeout, unless I see a need for doing a second paycheck of the month. It's just going to go into the month ahead, so I don't think it'll be necessary to do that. So the next video will be the closeout of September. Here we are, only September 10th, talking about the end of September. So, yeah. Thanks for sticking around and watching. Hope your budgets are going well, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.